Good Tuesday afternoon. Welcome everyone to Ask the GAPS Chef. Monica Corrado here. Certified GAPS practitioner, holistic nutritionist, teaching chef, all those good things. My website is simplybeingwell.com. And I'm not sure why I'm having trouble with lighting today, but I am. Okay, there we go. So welcome to everyone, and I'm hoping that you can hear me. Let's see if we can turn this up a little bit. Yes, hello Jody. I am hoping you can hear me. This may turn it up.
We know that what you're
Oh my goodness, look at that. Very interesting. All right, I'm hoping you can hear me. Somebody give me a yes. Okay. So, hello, Jody. Hello, Leonie. Hello, Niska. Hello, Claude. Hey. Good to see all of you today. So, today I wanted to talk a little bit about a requested subject. The requested subject for today, or topic, is how do you introduce foods, sensitive foods, or foods that someone is sensitive to. Yahoo! Great! I'm so happy you ordered Antronex. That's excellent. All right, the first thing I need to say is that I am not a medical doctor, and my desire in this work, this Facebook Live, is to be available as a certified GAPS practitioner to answer your questions, whatever you may have, about the GAPS diet, how to implement the GAPS diet, what is the GAPS diet, why does the GAPS diet work, etc., and answer your questions and be faithful to Dr. Natasha Campbell-McBride's work. So, as I said, today's topic is how to introduce foods that you are sensitive to, or how to best do that. And so, I'm going to think about how we're going to start here. So there's a difference, as everyone knows, between a sensitivity, or I hope you know, and an allergy, and an anaphylactic allergy. I guess that's 3 levels. There's probably many more levels, but for our purposes, let's talk about 3 levels of sensitivity. There is I'm sensitive, there is I'm allergic. That would be to a protein, and allergies are to proteins, as you all know. And there would be I have an anaphylactic allergy. That would also be to a protein. So the first thing I'd like to say, just to be really clear, is that GAPS does not ask you to introduce any food, or to try to introduce, to attempt to introduce any food to which you have an anaphylactic allergy. Now, some people's anaphylactic allergies do clear after doing the GAPS diet, usually for several years, but that is something that they test with an allergist under good, controlled conditions, etc. So, just to be clear again, a GAPS, certified GAPS practitioner, and or just the book itself doing the diet, we never ever ask or suggest that anyone try to introduce an anaphylactic food, a food to which you or your child or anyone who's doing GAPS has an anaphylactic reaction. Dangerous. Yeah. So that leaves us with allergies, and which are less than anaphylaxis, and then to just sensitivities. And so, how do we do this? This is how we do this. You all know that I'm always telling you to do things very slowly. Take a small step, right? Hello, Laura. Hello, Vicki. Good to have you with us today. Hello to everyone else that's going to jump on and see this at some point, whether it's on our group or on my YouTube, Ask the GAPS Chef. Yeah? Hello to everyone. So how do we introduce foods to which we are sensitive? How do we even know that we're sensitive? So this brings in the question of testing. So most of you know also that GAPS is not big on testing, meaning Dr. Natasha doesn't say go get this test done and that test done and this test done. In fact, what we are trained to do as certified GAPS practitioners, and the thing that we are working with you, how we work with our clients and our patients, is to listen to the body, learn how to read the body. What does the body say? What is the body saying to you about this food? Do you feel good when you introduce this food? Do you feel bad? What kind of symptoms do you have? Do you feel tired? Do you feel sick to your stomach? Do you get a big headache? Do you get joint pain? Do you have an eczema flare? What is the body telling you? So on GAPS, we really listen to the body more than anything else. That is our job. That is what we're asking moms to do when they're working with their children on implementing GAPS. That's what we're asking all of you to do. Listen to the body. The body is very wise, and the body will tell you how it feels when you introduce a certain food. So I just want to say that use the information provided by your blessed, intelligent, amazing physical body when you introduce a food. Rely on that far more than relying on testing. Okay, so right now I'm just talking about sensitive foods, foods to which you have sensitivities. So again, you may see that there's 100 different foods that you have a sensitivity to on a test, or maybe 37, or maybe 92, or who knows how many. What do those tests tell you? They tell you you have a leaky gut. They tell you you need to heal and seal. Whether you have one thing or you have, 100 things or 200 things, we need to work on the gut. So we continue to heal and seal with meat stock. That is your primary tool on the GAPS diet. How do we heal and seal? We have meat stock. And we remember that meat stock can be in a mug. I'm drinking my stock. It can be in a hearty soup. I'm eating it with vegetables and meat. And good salt. Always good salt. And probiotic food in there. I'm eating my meat stock in a blended soup. Hooray! Some kind of blended soup. Maybe it's gingered carrots. Maybe it's winter roots. Maybe it's who knows what. Broccoli, cauliflower, beet. Blended. Yeah. Maybe I'm having my meat stock as part of a casserole. Maybe I'm having my meat stock as part of a stew. And I really encourage you all to branch out from I'm drinking meat stock in a mug to I'm eating my meat stock as my meal. Very, very, very helpful for people, I think. Instead of just trying to make gallons and gallons or quarts and quarts or liters and liters of meat stock and cook a meal, just cook your meal using meat stock. All right. So in any case, sensitive foods. So what do? Very important, especially on intro, to introduce one new food at a time. Many of you, I'm sure, have had children, and when you were moving those children off of breast milk onto solid food, or relatively solid food, something that's not just breast milk, you did it one food at a time. So, again, very helpful to do just one food at a time so that you know what's happening. If you try to introduce 2 or 3, even 2 things at the same time, you're not going, and there's a reaction to the food. There is an eczema flare. There is a stomach ache. There is some nausea. There is whatever there is. Yeah? There's exhaustion. There's crankiness. There's neediness. there's whining, right? Or whatever it is, remembering that sometimes it's a physical response and sometimes it's an emotional response. But it really is best to make sure that you're keeping the foods separate. So introduce a new food and then for over several days. This is why it's not easy to go through the intro diet quickly, folks. At least not the first time. Because if you're really listening to the body, you're giving it somewhere between just about 3 days on a new food to tell you whether or not it's doing well, whether or not it can handle more, whether or not you're in the clear to introduce another food, a new food, or just a food that someone is sensitive to. So again, that's a fundamental principle, is introduce one food at a time. You all know that probably. The next is, depending upon the perceived or experience of sensitivity, then, meaning, oh boy, my child has never done well with this particular food prior to GAPS. So if that's a big deal, you're like, then you can start with just a little bit. And just a little bit could be a teaspoon or a forkful, which is usually the way the GAPS books are written. Introduce a teaspoon, see what happens. But you are welcome to step way back and start with 1/8 of a teaspoon. Start with a drop of something. Start with a drop of something that's diluted in water and then have a drop of that. Right? For example, while I would say that sauerkraut is not necessarily a food someone is sensitive to, they probably are sensitive to the microbes. We need to manage the die-off and perhaps the histamine if that sauerkraut is young, not 6 months to a year or older before you eat it, right? So if someone really is sensitive to that, then we practitioners have suggested that you take a drop of the sauerkraut juice, you put it in 8 ounces of pure water, right? 1 drop, bing, and then you take a drop of that and you put it into the bowl of soup or the bowl of stock, right? So it's really very diluted. It's not, oh, I'm taking a drop of sauerkraut juice and putting it in their mouth. That would be a direct, that would be directly into the mouth, but we're diluting it yet again. So you have all of these ways, folks. I really encourage you. Listen to the body. What is it saying? Listen to your intuition about your child or yourself, about bringing in a new food that you've had history with, or that you kind of think might be problematic. Listen. And then decide where you want to start. Do I want to start with a teaspoon? Do I want to start with a 1/2 teaspoon? Do I want to start with 1/8 of a teaspoon? Do I want to start with a drop in a bowl of soup? Or do I want to start with a diluted drop, right? A dilution. Again, a drop of that food, whatever it is, that's in 8 ounces of water. Stir it all around. Take a drop of that. Drop meaning pipette, dropper, a little dropper, right, that you use. And then you put that in the soup. And again, we watch. How are they handling it? Did they sleep well that night? Sleep could be disrupted by a new food, or by die-off, certainly. Sleep could be disrupted. Mood can be disrupted. Physical body can be disrupted. Bowels can be disrupted. All these things could be disrupted by the introduction of a new food, and so you want to really be watching. Watch, take notes so you can look back on it later, and also your timing is your timing, right? Your timing is your timing, or your child's timing is their timing. We really just listen to the body. There's no rush. People that will get the most healing out of GAPS are those that take it slowly. that take it slowly, that listen to their body, that don't rush to get a new food in. Because remember, we are healing and sealing with that meat stock, and we are really working to see, how's the healing going? Yeah? How's the healing going? How are they tolerating this food? So, with regards to things that people have allergies to, let me start in a different place. Dairy, cultured dairy. Now, remember that dairy sensitivities prior to GAPS are usually caused by short fermentation. They're usually caused by sugar. Usually, not always. So, that means lactose is dairy, right? Milk sugar, sugar that's found in milk. So people that are quote unquote sensitive to dairy, they say, I can't tolerate dairy. Why? Because I bloat. Okay, if you bloat because of dairy, that's a lactose issue usually. If it's a lactose issue, then long culturing, which is the only type of dairy that we serve really, that we eat in or when we're on the GAPS diet. Yeah, long cultured dairy, which is yogurt, kefir, GAPS sour cream, which is also known as cultured cream or kefir cream. All of those things are cultured long enough so that the lactose is pre-digested. So if you have folks who have said, I am sensitive to dairy, I don't feel good on it, I bloat, you say, don't worry. GAPS only uses cultured dairy, and cultured dairy, long cultured dairy, has no lactose. If there's no lactose, no bloating, right? We also remember that, or I hope we remember, that all of the techniques we use in GAPS, all of them, culturing dairy, making yogurt, making kefir, making cultured cream, soaking and sprouting nuts and seeds and beans and lactofermentation. All those things are pre-digestion techniques. Okay? So they're all pre-digestion techniques. That means they're easier for your body to digest. Yeah? Easy for your body to use the nutrition. Fantastic. All right. So I think that's it. Oh, no, I want to talk about allergies. If your person, your child, yourself, your spouse, your client, your patient, yourself, whatever, if you have any allergies to food, those are allergies to protein. For example, egg white, right? Egg white, because that's a protein. That's why in GAPS, we always start with the egg yolk. Yeah, because the white usually is more problematic for people than the yolk. I often suggest to people two things. One, whenever you have an allergy to an egg white, as long as it's not anaphylactic to the egg white, then you would do a sensitivity test, which is the skin sensitivity test. Check it out there. And then if it turns out you're no good with, you can't handle beautiful chicken eggs that are raised on pasture. These are all clues, folks, right? So chicken eggs from chickens raised on pasture that eat bugs, right? They're not eating soy and corn. They're not eating organic soy and corn, but still you can't tolerate those egg whites. Then you would back up and try perhaps duck eggs. If after trying to introduce duck eggs, they don't work either, now remembering that the protein is different from a chicken egg to a duck egg, right? Then you would back up and maybe try turkey eggs if you can get them, or quail eggs, right? We're always trying to get the food in, and if chicken doesn't work, then let's do duck. If duck doesn't work, then let's do, right, turkey or quail. Just like when you look at things like dairy, if cow doesn't work, raw, homemade, beautiful, gorgeous, yum, 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 yogurt, kefir from raw cow dairy, then let's look at goat dairy. If goat dairy doesn't work, then let's look at sheep dairy. If sheep milk doesn't work, then we're going to look at camel milk, water buffalo milk. Remembering, don't give up, folks. If one of the dairies doesn't work, one of the milks doesn't work, try a different mammal milk. Make sure it's raw. And if you can't get raw for whatever reason, wherever you are, then do find the best quality, organic, pasture-raised, low temperature, pasteurized milk or cream and culture that, right? But we know that there's a big difference in nutritional value between raw and pasteurized, raw being better, of course, and also the structures of the proteins have not been messed up by pasteurization. And also, what else? Of course, we lose so much with pasteurization. In any case, I hope that was helpful. I don't want to talk more because I've only got about 20 minutes. I need to go teach a Certified GAPS Coach graduate webinar this afternoon. So hello to Sherry. You're welcome. Welcome, welcome. First time here. Happy to have you. Hello, Natasha. Hello to Norma. Hooray! All the people that came that I hadn't said hello to. Hello, everyone. All right. So at this point, I will take any questions that you have about whatever you may have. If you want to put them, just put them in the comments, and we can go from there. I'm going to look and see if there's any more. Someone said something else I didn't get to. La, la, la. Hello, Niska. I don't know if I said hello. I think I did. Yay for Antranex. Fabulous. Vicky says, I had several anaphylactic allergies that reversed because of GAPS. High five. Big, big, big congratulations about that. I'm so happy to hear. I'd love to hear those things. All right. Thank you for all you do for us. Oh, you're so welcome. It's my pleasure. I finally got a great source of raw goat. Yes, raw goat milk. I finally got a great raw source of goat milk. Okay, cool. Yay, congratulations. Okay, I'm singing today. I haven't heated it yet. How long can raw goat milk sit out to separate curds and whey? So with all of the milks, folks, you can let them sit out. Raw milk only. Do not try this with pasteurized because you will get sick. Raw milk only. So literally, you just keep it in the jar, keep the lid on tight, and leave it out on the counter for as long as it takes to separate into curds and whey. Remember, this is one of the methods, one of the ways to get whey, right? We just allow the milk solids, they'll come up and the whey will be on the bottom, and then you can just strain it, and then you'll have a lot of whey, which is wonderful. Just as long as it takes. Sometimes it takes 3 to 5 to 7 days, depending on the milk, depending on the temperature of the room. Yeah. Okay. How long can it sit out for kefir grains, and where to get them from? Okay. All raw dairy, whatever it is, cow, goat, sheep, camel, etc. I kind of say camel as a joke, sort of, but I know that people are using camel milk because the casein is better for their child or whatever, which is fine. So, but I find it funny that, at least in the U.S., that we're raising camels for camel milk. I always think of, like, the desert on the other side of the world. Sorry. Okay, so all of the milks would stay out for kefir for about 24 hours. 24 hours at room temperature, folks, which is what? Room temperature is 68 to 72 degrees. I think that's 20 to 22 Celsius, I think. 24 hours with those grains. Where to get the grains from? So if you're in the U.S., well, wherever you are, if you have a Weston A. Price chapter near you, meaning do you have a, go on to westonaprice.org, Weston, WESTON, Price, price.org. Go there, look up Find Real Food, I think, or Find Food, and then you go to the local chapter near you. Why am I mentioning that? Because the local chapter leaders near you often can connect you with people who are making kefir, and anyone who's making kefir on a regular basis has a lot of grains to spare, and they can just give them to you. Now, if that's not possible because you don't have a chapter near you, or no one's making kefir, which would be oh so very sad, I would look online. I would look to Cultures for Health is the favorite, my favorite website so far. They've been around for a long time. They do good work, so I would look there. What do you recommend making for the most healing? Yes. None say the maximum time to keep it at room temperature. 24 hours is usually maximum, or until you see a little tiny bit of whey separating out on the bottom. We're talking like a line. If it starts separating like this, that means that you've overcultured the kefir, folks. It's gone too long. So it's usually 24 hours at 68 to 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, sometimes it's only 23 hours if you get that little bit of whey. So don't let the hours, yes, go for 24, but if you see the split happening at 22, pull it, it's done. If you see it happening at 20, pull it. If you see it at 26, pull it at that point, meaning it's finished. So put it in the fridge. Yeah. So kefir. Kefir. It's very healing and it's very potent. So everyone, please proceed with mindfulness, because you don't want a massive amount of die-off. Okay? Like, if you've never had kefir, maybe it's a half a teaspoon. No joke. If you've never, ever had kefir. Slow and steady. Mindful, mindful. Oh, and just so everyone knows, when you work with kefir, you're working with grains, you do not have to heat the milk, whether it is raw or pasteurized, according to Dr. Natasha. That is as of the Blue Book, Gut and Physiology Syndrome. All right, here's Claude. Hello, Claude. Sweet Claude, why are certain beans allowed and others aren't? Of course, soaking, but why are navy beans allowed, but big white beans aren't? It's all about the structure of the carbohydrate. So if you really want to know, let me say it differently. Everything about the GAPS diet is for a reason. None of it is random, like, oh, Dr. Natasha doesn't like beans. No. None of it is random. It's all scientific, and it's all for a reason. So the reason that white navy beans are allowed is because of the structure of the carbohydrate of the bean. If you would like to know more about this, because it's always wonderful to have, I think, to educate yourself if you're trying to implement a diet, you want to look to the specific carbohydrate diet. The book is called Breaking the Vicious Cycle, which was written by Elaine Gottschall. She will tell you all the biochemistry behind which beans are on the diet and which are not. So very specifically, yes, we always soak them, we sprout them, we ferment them, maybe we soak them and ferment them, maybe we sprout them and ferment them, whatever we're doing, but we only do certain ones. That's exactly right, because of the structure of the carbohydrate in the bean. So let's suffice it to say that things that aren't lentils or limas or white navy beans or split peas or green beans, which are really vegetables in the U.S. anyway, their molecules are too big, and they would cause either harm to the gut because the molecular structure is too complex, or they would feed pathogens. I hope that's helpful. Hello, Nicole. Hello, Elide. I hope that's right. You're welcome, Vicky. I hope you're welcome. You're welcome. Rock and roll. Keep going, girl. All right, we did that, Claude. I hope that's helpful to you. All right, let's move on. So now I have, tell me about chicken feet stock for knee joint pain. Doctors want surgery. Jody, and everyone else. Yes, what you want to do, this is not just, it's not just about chicken feet, folks. It's about anything that's high in collagen. So this could be pig trotters stock. This could be, right, that's their feet. This could be, heck, it could be a whole pig head, frankly. This could be stock with lots of nibbly bits, lots of cartilage, lots that you blend back in. So what you want to do is, I'm sorry that you have knee joint pain. So let me think about how to answer this best. Yes, you definitely need the high collagen stocks. You can make what we call cartilage cubes or nibbly bit cubes. Actually, ice cube trays full of this high cartilage, like chicken cartilage that you take and then you blend with some stock and then you freeze them and then you take one and put them in each of your soups, bowls of soup or stew, etc. If you have knee joint pain, there's a couple things. Number one, of course, I'm sure you've already tried them. In any specific order, osteopathy, chiropractic. Often knee joint pain has to do with a specific muscle that's out, muscle group. Can also have to do with a spine. One of your discs is out of alignment, your nerves are out. So I would look at, for everyone watching this, not just Jody, because maybe she's done this already, but chiropractic, osteopathy, acupuncture, those are all things about alignment and clearing pain. In terms of anybody who has bone on bone, it can be healed. I've seen it. Having lots of stock, we're talking, minimum of a quart, pretty much a quart a day would do it. A quart a day of high cartilage stock. I also suggest, that you do a castor oil pack on the knee overnight. Very, very helpful. I'm trying to think if there's any other tools in my toolbox that I'll be working on with knee. Knees are about fear of being cut off at the knees. Knees can be about fear of death. Knees can be, if it's a left knee, it has to do with more of kind of the intuitive side, the creative side, the gestational side. If it's the right knee, it's more about going into the world, doing work in the world, those types of things. Hope that's helpful. All right. Perfect. Thank you for... we do not have the same beans on the market here in Germany, so I need to understand the biochemistry in order to be able to choose from what we have here. Perfect, Claude. I love it. Do it. Great. All right. I've got the yellow and blue book. I'm reading blue. Autistic son reading the yellow. We've only started on the broth. That would be stock. Please call it meat stock, because in GAPS we call it bone broth, and we don't do bone broth. All right. I'm personally only able to eat lamb and beef. That's fine. Hey, it's more than one. You've got lamb and beef. Congratulations. Yay, we love it. Do I need a cookbook to start the protocol? No, you can start it with the yellow or blue book. What you really need is my book. Did I say that? I did. Which is the Complete Cooking Techniques for the GAPS Diet, which is the cooking technique book that all of the coaches and practitioners use in their training with Dr. Natasha. Hopefully it's easy for you. There is a coupon on this, a link and a coupon on our page, Ask the GAPS Chef. So take a look at that. You're doing great. Let's be thankful for what we can do and not be sad and worried and focusing on what we can't do, right? You've got lamb and beef. That's fantastic. Some people are hobbling along on chicken for 6 years, Not years, but sometimes 2 years. Long time. Yes. You're welcome, Jody. Hello, Colleen. Woohoo! Yes, Claude says, Jody, try if you can to find a dry needling therapist. Helps with pain. Excellent. All right, let's go here. I have got whom now? La, 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 la. I'm looking. Okay, Natasha. Hello, Natasha. I made beef heart stew the other day with marrow bones. Kids loved it. Yes. Go, Mom. I love it. Go, Dad, too, but Mom was the cook. So, yahoo. I got to tell you, beef heart is one of the easiest I have found. It's one of the easiest organ meats to bring into any diet, unless you have beef issues, and then we'll talk about that some other time. But let's just say heart, whether it's beef, lamb, chicken, any of the heart that you can get, it's very easy to bring in as an organ meat because we are used to eating muscle meats. And the heart is just one big muscle. Actually, I think it's 3 different types of muscle tissue. So the heart is muscle, so it tastes like a steak. And people are used to steak. There's no of that. There's not a different mouthfeel or a strong flavor like there is with liver. I'm not saying don't eat liver, but heart is a great thing to start with. So rock and roll. You get the star for today, Natasha, for creative organ recipe for your kids. Love it. Okay. Hello, Arlette. Okay, let's see. Another question from Claude. Is there a specific reason for carrots in the Gap Shake? Yes. I left them out so far to say low on carbs, but I hear carrot juice is beneficial against parasites. I haven't heard that it's against parasites. Carrots are very, very highly cleansing. Carrots are very highly cleansing. I would look, if you want more information, Claude, about why carrots, because a lot of people come and will ask me, well, carrots are high in carb, like you said, but carrots and beets, while they are high in carb, they have very good reasons to have them on the diet, right? So I would take a look always. I'm always encouraging people to, if you're really interested, which it sounds like you are, I would go to gaps.me and go to FAQs, and I would look up carrots because it's all over the place on that thing. Dr. Tasha's talking about carrots with regard to sunburn, with regard to juicing, with regards to all sorts of things. So I would go there. I also encourage you to look in both the yellow book and the blue book under juicing, because she does talk, Dr. Natasha does talk about carrots in those places and why carrots and why are they there. Remember, everyone, that when you bring carrots in a juice, it is always diluted, right? We always dilute the juice half with water. So that's going to help minimize the sugar impact. And of course, if you bring it in with some fat, now we're creeping into the Gap Shake place, right? A little bit. Remember, Gap Shakes are for people who have nausea, trying to increase fats. They have low fat tolerance. They may have constipation. They may have hemorrhoids, all those things. Let's get those Gap Shakes going. And there is a very specific Gap Shake recipe on page 80 of the blue book that includes fat, egg, whole eggs, and juices. So I would just take a look at that. Again, I have not heard that carrots are good for parasites, but remember, this is a great little segue into another piece of information, I think. It is this, and I was just teaching this past weekend. GAPS doesn't ever isolate anything, meaning we don't go after something. We don't go after parasites. Dr. Natasha is very clear that we don't go after parasites. We don't go after yeast. We don't say, I'm going after the yeast and we're going to kill it. We don't do that in GAPS. We balance the microbiome. We use the techniques, these are my words, of starvation. We starve look, I got a bubble. I don't know why it gave me a bubble, but what the heck. We starve the pathogenic bacteria. We starve the pathogenic microbes. Pardon me, I misspoke. And then we bring in the good microbes, the beneficial ones, yeast, bacteria. And then we let the body come to balance. And when we do that, and we do it over a period of time, we're talking about remember, GAPS is a 2-year commitment at a minimum. Let's all get that straight, everyone. This is not a 1-month silver bullet or even a 6-month or even a year. We're doing 2 years commitment at least after a full diet after you're done with intro. Yeah? So during that time, what happens is the microbes balance. And the yeast, if you have a yeast imbalance, like someone has a massive candida problem, candida, of which there are several, I think hundreds of species. If you have a yeast imbalance, that is the yeast protecting your brain, usually protecting your brain from heavy metals. So yeasts are invited in by the body to take care of you. So we don't want to go after them. Parasites usually will rebalance and leave the body themselves through GAPS. Now, if after 2 years of doing GAPS, you still have an issue with parasites, then we can think of herbals. We can think of pumpkin milk, pumpkin seed milk, which is not published anywhere, but I should probably put it on my blog. Anyway, pumpkin seed milk. We can think of full moon cleanses and things like that. So I just want to put that out there. Don't go after the parasites, folks, until 2 years on full. Hey, Joanna, thanks for coming by. All right. You're welcome. Carrot, carrot, carrot. I love it. Okay, sorry for this question. It's my last question, folks, because I have to get on to teach a grad seminar. No worries, Arlette. You don't be sorry for any question. I am still new with the GAPS diet. Welcome, welcome. But where I live, it's illegal to sell raw milk, and the only milk they have is the pasteurized organic milk. Yes. Arlette, you absolutely can. You must have come on a little bit late because I said that in the beginning, but you are, yes, if you cannot find raw milk, then if you cannot find raw milk, and in some countries it's illegal. I know Canada's having a really hard time right now. Michael Schmidt up there. If you can't find raw milk, whether it's raw cow, raw goat, raw camel, raw sheep, raw donkey, I don't care, raw anything, use the best quality. Yeah, Canada, I know, blessings. Blessings, my northern neighbor. Use the best quality, organic, grass-fed, low-temperature pasteurized milk you can find. And yes, you will still have benefits from the sour cream and the yogurt and the kefir. Yes. All right, everyone. I got to scoot. I've got to teach this afternoon in just about a half hour. So blessings to all of you on your way. Happy to be with you today. Next week, we're going to talk about something else. There was a question that came in about bloating and cramping, strategies for bloating and cramping. That could be fun. Not the bloating and cramping is not fun. Anyway. All right, everyone, be very well. Take good care of yourselves, take good care of each other. And remember, step by step, right? Keep your eye on the prize. Keep yourself positive. What is working? Go there. What is working? You're welcome. Blessings, everyone. Be well. Bye now.